All right, hello and welcome. Today, we are going to peel back those famous pastel colored layers of one of London's most iconic neighborhoods. Yep, we're going way beyond the movie magic to get to the real story of Notting Hill, a story that's complex, resilient, and always changing. So let's step behind that famous blue door and see what we find. So, when I say Notting Hill, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, right, it's that 1999 rom-com, Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts. It's the movie that basically painted this picture of a super quirky, romantic little village tucked away in the middle of London. And hey, let's be fair, that charm, it's definitely still a huge part of what makes Notting Hill, Notting Hill. But, and this is a big but, that Hollywood version, it's really just one page in a much longer story. I mean, before it was a movie set, Notting Hill was this gritty industrial place. They literally called it the potteries and piggeries. Can you imagine? All because of its super stinky brickyards and pig farms. Yeah, not so romantic. The story of how it went from that to this, now that's the real drama. And this timeline, wow, it just shows you how fast and how drastically this place has changed. It starts as this quiet rural spot, then boom, the Victorian era hits, and these massive, fancy houses pop up for the rich. But then, after World War II, it takes a nosedive. We're talking serious decline, slums, a lot of racial tension, and then another massive swing, and it transforms into one of the wealthiest neighborhoods you'll find today. It's just a constant cycle of radical reinvention. Okay, so to really get Notting Hill, you have to look up. You have to look at the buildings. Because the architecture here, it's so much more than just bricks and concrete. It's like a physical timeline of the area's history, telling this incredible story of completely different ideas and competing dreams for what this little corner of London should be. And this right here, this captures the two souls of the neighborhood perfectly. On one side, you've got those beautiful pastel Victorian terraces, right? The ultimate symbol of 19th century money. And on the other side, Trellick Tower. Stark, concrete, a monument to 20th century social ambition. I mean, they could not look more different, and yet here they are, sharing the same postcode. So let's talk about these terraces. They weren't just built to be pretty. No, they were a massive statement of status for London's growing upper middle class. They borrowed these grand styles from Italian and Georgian designs, and it was all about showing off your wealth. And today, well, those pastel colors have become the Instagram-famous brand of modern Notting Hill. And then you have this. Talk about a complete contrast. This is Trellick Tower. It was designed by an architect named Erno Goldfinger, and it was this really radical solution to the housing crisis after the war. It's a style called brutalism. It's all about using raw concrete, bold shapes. And people used to hate it, but now it's actually a protected architectural landmark. But to get Trellick Tower, you really have to understand the idea behind it. Goldfinger wasn't just throwing up a block of flats. He was trying to build a community. His big utopian idea was, hey, if we build up, if we build high, we can free up all this ground space for kids and grown-ups to actually enjoy nature. It was this incredible vision for a better future, literally written in concrete. Okay, so from architectural visions to cultural ones, let's talk about the beating heart and soul of Notting Hill, the world-famous carnival. But look, this is so much more than just Europe's biggest street party. It was actually forged in the fire of conflict, and it really stands as this powerful symbol of resilience and the fight for dignity. Yeah, the story starts with the Windrush generation. When Caribbean migrants came and settled here, they faced just a wall of racism and hostility, and it all boiled over in the 1958 race riots. So in response, this amazing activist from Trinidad, Claudia Jones, she organized an indoor carnival. It was an act of defiance, a celebration of culture and unity. And that incredible spirit eventually spilled out onto the streets in 1966, creating the carnival we know today. And just look at it now. I mean, from those determined, defiant beginnings, it has just exploded into this massive global event. We're talking 2 million people celebrating Caribbean culture right on the streets of West London. It's just this joyful, powerful testament to the community that built it. It's actually the biggest street festival in Europe. And at the very core of Carnival, you have what's called the 5 disciplines. It's this total explosion for your senses. You've got the incredible spectacle of masquerade, with these jaw-dropping costumes. You've got the rhythms of calypso and soca music that just make you want to move. The amazing melodic sound of the steel pan bands. And of course, those earth-shaking, bass-heavy sound systems. It's an experience you feel deep in your soul. But here's the twist. The very success that made Notting Hill this global destination, it also planted the seeds for its next and maybe most controversial chapter, gentrification. And yeah, this is where the story gets really, really complicated. And what's fascinating is that the word gentrification itself was actually coined back in 1964 by a sociologist named Ruth Glass. And guess what she was describing? London neighborhoods just like Notting Hill. She saw wealthier people moving in, changing the whole vibe of the area, and pushing out the original residents who had been there for generations. And this shows you the real human impact of that process. The numbers here are just stark. Between 2001 and 2011, just 10 years, the Black population in the borough dropped by almost half. These aren't just statistics, you know? These are families, these are communities. This is a whole cultural identity being systematically priced right out of its own home. And this process just sped up into what some people call super gentrification. House prices went through the roof, especially in the 80s. The area became home to these powerful political figures. And all those little independent shops that gave the neighborhood its character, they got pushed out by big corporate chains. It's led to something called symbolic displacement, which is a fancy way of saying the area's incredible multicultural history gets used as a selling point, even as the very people who created that history can't afford to live there anymore. So, okay, knowing all of this really complex history, how can we visit Notting Hill today? How can we experience it not as just a tourist snapping photos, but as someone who's informed and respectful and can really appreciate all these different layers? Well, if you're heading to the world-famous Portobello Road Market, here are a few pro tips to help you do it like a local. First, get there early on a Saturday. I'm talking before 11:30 a.m. You'll beat the huge crowds and get first dibs on the best stuff. Also, know what's on. Saturday is the big day for antiques, but if you go midweek, it's great for fruit and veg. And hey, don't be afraid to haggle a little. It's totally normal. It's part of the culture of the market. And of course, for all the film fans out there, while it's super cool to see the famous spots from the movie, it's so important to remember that these are people's actual homes and businesses, so please be respectful. That famous blue door, you'll find it at 280 Westbourne Park Road. The shop that was used for the outside of the bookshop is at 142 Portobello Road. And those beautiful private gardens that William and Anna sneak into, those are the Rosemead Gardens. And yeah, they are private. So there you have it. From an industrial slum to a bohemian hangout. From the heart of Black British culture to a symbol of global wealth. Notting Hill is a place that is always, always changing. Its story is such a powerful reminder that underneath the picture-perfect surface of any neighborhood, there's always a deep and often complicated history. It just leaves you wondering, right? What's the next chapter going to be?